What's it like to come out as transgender in the workplace? I can tell you from personal experience, it is scary. But you know what's more scary? Is spending the rest of your life in a way that isn't true to your authentic self. If you're someone thinking of coming out, if you're early in transition and maybe you just recently came out and want to compare experiences, or perhaps you're an HR professional trying to understand how to better support trans and non-binary employees in the workplace, then stick around and let's get at it. Hi, my name is Kate Madden. Normally I make these videos from the other side of the country in Vancouver, British Columbia, but today I find myself in downtown Toronto and I am staying at the exact same hotel 5 years to the day that I stayed in when I was attending a conference here and I came out to my colleagues at that conference. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, or maybe you've watched others and you haven't had a chance, please hit that notification bell, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you've come out in the workplace and you want to share your experience. I'd really love to hear it. I know others who are watching this would love to hear it as well. Coming out at work is an important aspect of transition, especially social transition, when you consider that you're spending a majority of your work week, of your life, with your coworkers and your colleagues. And it's more than just spending that time sharing a carpet, for example. You're sharing yourself, and you are giving a piece of yourself and that time of your life to those people. And it's not really about those people or your colleagues, your clients, whatever. It's about yourself and being able to be yourself in all aspects of your life. In my entire life, there's probably been almost nothing more anxiety-inducing or nerve-wracking than that moment that I got in front of my team and I shared with them that I was trans. I've often said that those early days of transition were like jumping out of an airplane and trying to figure out how to put the parachute on the way down. In the end, I figured out how to do it. Others have figured out how to do it, and I really hope you figure out how to do it. And maybe one of the things that I think we all experience, and maybe we'll see it in those comments, is that hesitation to come out. You know, like how many years did it hold you back? I know it held me back for so many years. And like I consider the two things that really were the roadblocks were I knew I would lose my marriage, and I was really scared I would lose my job, and especially as the sole provider for my family. That weighed heavily on me. 5 years later, I recognize, though, especially here at time of recording in 2023, that I am in a place of privilege in Canada. There's federal legislation in place, there's provincial legislation, and trans and non-binary people are a protected class of people in this country. But despite that, we do live in this world where, you know, we live in the cis-het world where transphobia is still accepted. And, you know, there might be reasons that people find where that protection doesn't matter. So I get why you would be hesitant. I know I was, and I know really everyone is. Something that really helped me out, and I've been in insurance and financial sales, financial services for 16 years, and in fact, right across the way, outside the window that's on the other side of this camera, is the office I worked at Canada's largest bank. Was right there. My boss was, I can see their window from here while I do this. And what I think is really important is we find others who have gone through this, who have done this before. We find the mentors, we find the people who are sharing their experiences. And if we've done it, we share those experiences with those that come after us. We need to find support systems, create support systems, and we can do that either locally in real life, or we do it online, we do it through the various social media platforms we have access to. And there are different communities, whether that be on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook. There's groups, there's networks and hashtags, and we can all help each other. Because once you come out, there's no going back. Like, everyone knows now. And I think that's a good thing that everyone knows. Overwhelmingly, my experience with colleagues, with clients was positive. They were very supportive, encouraging, and friendly. There were some issues. Some folks did struggle with pronouns. I noticed that hugs became handshakes, but I also found that as people left my life, handshakes became hugs from people who weren't that close with me previously. Something that was really hard was just learning a different set of rules in the workplace, like a different set of expectations, you know. I couldn't wear the same shirt twice, the same blouse twice, the same skirt twice, and being a woman is about more than clothes, and I'm not trying to trivialize that. Especially early on, I didn't really understand the way I was stepping away from privilege, and that was something that was very powerful as well to recognize. Like, the systems that had served me previously were now working against me. So it's really important in that respect is to find your people, find your allies, who's got your back. And I think also, who do you share your story with? And you got to be careful with that, because not everyone has your back. Not everyone is an ally. And sometimes you'll find that you're talking to someone, you think you're having this moment, and then you'll hear from so-and-so down the way that they were talking about you in the lunchroom, or, you know, at the bar after work or whatever. And so if you're an ally, if you're a friend of a trans person, if you're a family member, a coworker, and you're watching this, a real important thing is, what do you do when that trans person or non-binary person isn't there? Do you correct someone when they're misgendered or they use their dead name? Do you stick up for them? I know for myself, in those moments when I heard about those people who stuck up for me and, you know, really became conspirators with me, those are the people that are still in my life today, 5 years later. Eventually, you realize that this is your life, and you kind of step into that, and there's this confidence that you arrive at. And I'm not sure what the exact moment was for me, but I can say, generally speaking, it was about a year after I began my social transition. And the workplace was a key part of that social transition. So I came out at work here in this hotel, and then I didn't socially transition for about 5 months afterwards. But once I did, it was also at a work event when I just was like, oh, here we are, I'm doing it. So I did it. And it was about a year after that that I just realized that this was me. And that was a wonderful feeling. And I think that feeling was so wonderful because there is an importance in one's life to being themselves, to being authentic, to be fully themselves in every capacity, to live and to love in all those ways. So a couple of years into transition, though, there was a challenge, and that was I got laid off. My entire team, people who I had worked with for years, we were all let go. We were all laid off in one day across the country, and it was hard. I decided to relocate, so I left Calgary and I moved to Vancouver. And I moved just in time for COVID. So yeah, you know what that was like. And I was unemployed for a year. And there were some hard, dark moments, dark days where, you know, I couldn't get an interview, or if I got the interview, I couldn't get the job. And I would sit there and I'd wonder, well, you know, would this be easier if I was in a suit and tie? But eventually the world opened up again, and I did find a job in my business, in my career, in my industry, and here I am. I made it. A key thing I learned, though, in making it was that resilience and self-awareness can be self-taught. These are things you can work on, even when it gets really hard and you're just staring at the wall, lying in bed, or you're trying to breathe or put one foot in front of the other. It's a skill that you can build upon yourself, and you can learn, and you can lean on that in those hard moments. And you know, it's not about getting over those hard moments. I think really what this whole experience over the last few years has taught me is it's getting through. Like, they're still there. You still gotta live with those things, but you now have the tools to get through, and that's a really powerful thing. It was 100% worth it to come out, and you know, the reward was getting to be myself, and coming home after a long day at work and just kicking my heels off and relaxing with a glass of wine and just being myself. Like, all that energy that was devoted to tamping down dysphoria, I can now direct towards every other aspect of my life. And I feel I'm a better parent, a better sibling, a better friend, a better partner, and just a better human being all around. And it's taught me just to keep growing, keep learning, keep moving, because that growth and that self-discovery is so important. Equally as important is what you do with that self-discovery, that knowledge, and that growth. And advocacy and activism are key things that you got to do. If you're capable, and we're not all capable, we don't all have the spoons, but if you have the capacity, share your story. Once you get somewhere, reach back and help the next person along. If you're an HR professional watching this, one of the key things I learned was that the education of my colleagues and my clients shouldn't be left to me in that moment while I am struggling to deal with all the other things going on in my life. And you know, if you're a business owner, you're an HR professional, take that load off the trans or non-binary person. And there are experts out there, diversity experts. You know them, you go to their webinars, you've gone to their sessions at conferences. They can help, and they can really make your workplace a better place, because none of us are free until all of us are free. So all this to say, it's not easy, but it is worth it. And I really hope that you get a chance to do it if you're watching this and thinking about it. I know you can do it because I did it. And I really hope you find that opportunity to live your life and to love your life as fully as the people in your life are going to love you. Thank you for watching. Like I said before, if you haven't had a chance, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. More importantly, leave a comment down below. And if you've come out at work, what was your experience like? And let's have a conversation about what some best practices are that we've all had across the world. And as always, here's to life.